Good afternoon, everyone. You have signed in to the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, or UCCS webinar on housing. Thanks for making the time to be here. I'm excited too, Roby. As we wait for everyone to come on in, just a couple of reminders. We will be sharing some great information. The first 15 minutes, we will be doing a walking tour with awesome Roby, and I'll let her introduce herself in a little bit. But if you don't mind, please go ahead and save your questions till closer to the end. We are also joined by Allie and Eddie, and they will be monitoring the chat button as well as the question and answers feature. Tour, after the tour, there will be a part where you can kind of follow along and look at different websites, which we will shoot out to you via the chat feature. And so feel free to either have us open on two different screens or maybe you have us on your laptop now, maybe have a mobile device ready if you want to follow along and look at some of the different websites. But again, we are so glad you are here. All right, it looks like we've got almost everyone in, and we'll just go ahead and get started with some introductions. So my name is Vanessa, and I'm one of the Associate Directors of Admissions here at UCCS. I have been here for quite a while. I started in 1999 as an academic advisor, so 21 years ago. Many of you were not even born yet, but for the last 10 years, been working in the Office of Admissions with prospective students and families like you all. And I'm going to have Roby introduce herself.
Why, thank you. So yeah, my name is Roby. I'm a sophomore here at UCCS, and this is also my second year living on campus. So that's pretty fun. I'm also a Clyde's guide on campus. If you guys ever come on a tour, hi. But yeah, that's me.
Excellent. And so let me start with a brief introduction before I turn things over to Roby. And so for those of you who are still learning about the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, we are part of the CU Public Research System. We are the youngest and the smallest. We are finishing up our fall semester currently with 12,000 students. And so while we are the smallest in the system, we are considered medium-sized in the state of Colorado. If you have not been to Colorado before, our capital city is Denver, and we are 1 hour south of the capital city of Denver. We are the second largest city after Denver. I always like to start off with this wintry picture, although as you will see with Roby as she walks around with us, it is a beautiful day in Colorado Springs. But this snowy picture will probably come to fruition in about 2 days, but that is typical for Colorado for sure, and that's what makes it fun. All right, so here is our agenda. Like I said, Roby is going to take us on a little mini tour of one of our housing villages, village at Alpine Valley. She'll show us a little bit around her room, and then she'll walk us on over to a couple of different places. As she's walking back from that little mini tour, I will get y'all started on some of the meat and potatoes of housing, the different floor plans, what's included. We will talk a little bit for those of you who haven't yet claimed your UCCS account. We'll talk a little bit about that and the housing application, key dates, and finally we'll end with question and answers. So that's our agenda for today. But like I said, I will now turn it over to Roby for the first part. Oh, no,
Yay!
Sorry. Hold on, let me talk about the location. So as I mentioned, she is over at the village at Alpine Valley. I forgot about our map. All right, so this isn't even the whole map of UCCS. This is just the top portion of the hill that we sit on in the city of Colorado Springs. For directional purposes, out west, the Rocky Mountains are always west. Pikes Peak Mountain, if you are lost, you look west, and that's how you know where you are. And so Roby is here at Village at Alpine Valley, and you'll get to see a little bit of that housing village. Last year, she was here over at Summit Village. And so we will get some of her insight and have her share some information with you on, what she liked about Summit Village, what she loves about Village at Alpine Valley. And so now I will go ahead and turn it over to Roby. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Perfect. Hello. So let me just show you guys what it's like in my room. Let me flip the screen. So this is what my room looks like. It's just cute and small. I also have a really cute view of swing sets, so that's exciting. As you walk out, this is the bathroom area, and then this door leads to the shower. That one's a bathroom, and then that's my roommate's room. So there's that. Here's the front door, so I would normally walk in through that, and then my kitchen. I don't exactly know how to cook yet, so haven't put much use into that, but my roommates definitely have. And then over here is our little living room. We just decorated it nicely for Christmas, so that's really fun. We also have a dining table, and then let me grab my mask and we'll head out. But yeah, that's what the average apartment room looks like. It's really cozy. I like it. Yeah. Let's go. Okay. So I'm on the 4th floor. So it's a little jog downstairs, but the view is worth it. And yeah.
So Roby, you cook nothing in that kitchen. That's a good sized kitchen.
Yeah, so I make quesadillas and I can
Uh-oh, we lost you for a little bit.
oven.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I just cheat the system a little bit, but that's okay.
But we're about to see how close you are to Roaring Fork Lodge, which is one of 2 places that our resident students can eat at, right?
So as you walk out, this is my beautiful view. And then over
Oops. It looks like we might have lost Roby for a bit. And Roby, if you can
that's pretty
hear.
fun.
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear you. Roby, if you can hear me, you might want to try and turn off Wi-Fi on your device. Roby, you're sidewards.
Ow!
That's better.
Whoa. Okay. But yeah, there's the outside. And then behind me is the rest of the village. So there's the parking garage and then the beautiful
Sorry, Roby, you froze a little bit. Do you have your Wi-Fi on your computer or you're on your phone right now? Hold on, folks. We'll get her back in just a little bit. Allie, while we wait for Roby to sign back on, would you mind talking a little bit about Roaring Fork. She was starting to point out the parking garage and the turf fields that sits on top of the parking garage.
Yeah, absolutely. So as Vanessa was saying, we do have two dining facilities on campus. We have the Roaring Fork and the Lodge. And as a student living on campus, you do get an unlimited meal plan. So you get a swipe in at either place. And overall, the food's really good. We do try to have more sustainable food options. So lots of really healthy options on campus that you can choose from to eat. And there is always a wide variety as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Allie. I know you lived over at Summit Village, and we'll be going over that a little bit. Did you by chance bring a car the first year that you were on campus?
Good question. I did bring a car. I was an out-of-state student, so I thought having a car would make it a little bit more accessible to get around the city for me. But I have lots of friends who did not have cars as well. And there's pretty good public transportation around Colorado Springs. And if not, I always just had a friend who would ride with me or me ride with a friend as well. So totally not necessary, but I did personally have a car.
Excellent. Thanks for sharing that information. So while we get Roby back on in a little bit, let me go ahead and share some overview information. Let me get my screen back up. Okay, so one of the big questions, of course, that we often get is, do you have to live on campus? And so you do if you are a first-year student under the age of 20 and you've completed less than 30 hours of college coursework. I believe most of the students who have signed on to today's webinar, you fit in this category. There's a few of you transfer students, but we will certainly talk about options for you on campus because we have them. And then you do not have to live on campus if you are currently in El Paso County living with a parent or guardian. And we can talk a little bit about our exemption form that we do have available as well. But this is generally what we are looking at in terms of the on-campus requirement. There's a lot of benefits to living on campus. We were just talking, Ellie and myself, about how she lived on campus for the first year and moved off. What are a couple of the things you missed, Ellie, once you moved off campus your second year?
Well, I was a lot like Roby in the sense that I was not a very good cook nor an experienced cook. So I was all excited to move off campus and have my own kitchen. And then very similarly, I rarely used it. So I definitely missed the meal plan, especially the unlimited meal plan. Again, like I mentioned, of having that dining facility on campus. So really missed that. And then just being so connected on campus and having direct access to intramural sports and clubs and organizations. And you still have a great chance to be involved in that once you move off campus, but it's just not quite as readily available because you can't just hop outside of your room and be involved in those things. So obviously it just takes a little bit more effort, but it's really fun to be in the heart of campus and have all of that stuff going on right around you.
Awesome, excellent. So we've got a raise hands feature on your Zoom menu bar. I'm curious, how many of you have been able to come by and look at campus, whether it's an official campus tour or you just drove by to check things out? Let's see those hands. Okay, so a little less than half of you have been able to see the campus either officially or not. All right, put your hands down. How many of you have never been to Colorado? Okay, a few of you. Thank you. And so of those who have never been to Colorado, how many of you have never seen snow? Just a few of you, okay. Always curious about that. Well, let's get into it in terms of the rates and floor plans. Let me go ahead and copy this particular website into the chat so that way you can follow along. If you go to this website here, you will see not just the floor plans, which we will be showing on this webinar, but you'll also see the prices that are associated with each of them. So for first year students, we have you living over at Summit Village. That is a choice, as well as Village at Alpine Valley. Roby had shown us at the beginning, she's over at Alpine Village Apartments, and that is available for our sophomores on up. What I love about this website is not only does it show you the floor plans and the prices, but there's some really good 360-degree photos that you can check out as well. All right, what is all included? And both Allie and Roby can attest to all of these conveniences that are available and included in the prices that you will see. And so there is an all access meal plan. Your parking permit is included. Roby had pointed out the parking garage, and that is the parking garage that all of our residents who choose to bring a car on campus, that is where they can park. I don't recommend it if you've never driven in snow. I grew up in Hawaii, and that is a definitely learned thing. Roby, I think you could make a lot of money if you start a driving lesson type of business, being from Colorado. But anyway, your parking permit is included when you live on campus. If you're not living on campus, that is something that you would have to pay for. Internet and cable is included, shuttle service. So this picture right here is the back of one of the shuttles that is available. It goes up and down the hill all day long, and going to be super convenient on Friday when it starts to snow, if you don't want to be walking. Roby's like, yes, that is so true. So that's included, utilities, and then laundry. You don't have to bring quarters. You do have to bring soap, for sure. And then I think it runs by app, right, Roby?
Yeah, so you can actually track which ones are open. You can track your own machine, and you can just keep track of your laundry better, which I think is really nice. So you don't have to worry about going downstairs with a full load of laundry to find out there's none available. I've never had a problem with it, and they're really convenient. I love them.
And it's a good location from where your room is at?
Yeah, so my laundry room isn't directly in my building. It's the one next to it, and it's like a short, maybe 2-minute walk. So I've never had a problem with it. And it's on the first floor, so I don't have to hike up any stairs. So that's also very nice.
Very nice. And which building are you in, just out of curiosity?
So I'm in the upperclassmen apartments. It's the first building in Alpine Village, and it's called Antero. So
And then last year in
fun.
Summit Village, which building were you in?
I was in Keystone, so that's fun.
Okay.
Superior. But yeah, and then the laundry room was actually on the first floor of my building, so that was also really convenient for me.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
All right, so as Ellie had kind of alluded to, our meal plan, it is unlimited entry during business hours. It is all you care to eat in 2 different dining halls, the Roaring Fork, which is over closer to where Roby lives currently in Alpine Valley, and then the Lodge Dining Hall is over in Summit Village. It also includes guest meals per semester and also some flex dollars. So yes, there are 2 dining halls where your meal plan works, but know that as you walk towards other parts of campus, there are coffee shops. There is over closer to the University Center, over by the library, there is Cafe 65. There's another coffee shop over there, Clyde's, which I don't think they're open this semester. But yeah, Roby, can you kind of elaborate a little bit more about the meal plan and what you've eaten, what's included, all of that fun stuff?
Yeah, of course. So I've actually eaten a large variety of food this semester, which is really nice because they have regular food. They also have gluten-free and vegan options. Sorry about that. So I've had little taste of everything. And then, like you mentioned, Clyde's is closed. That is our on-campus restaurant, but they are still open for takeout. So you can always get a bunch of food there. And then at the coffee shops, they also have sandwiches and wraps. So that's always a good place to get food. But yeah, I usually get either pasta with some sauce on top with chicken, which is usually my go-to, or pizza and like quesadillas and stuff like that. Or maybe if I'm feeling healthy, maybe a salad. That's pushing it a little bit, but yeah. I like the dining hall. It hasn't failed me, which is really nice. And this year, because of COVID, you actually have an app and you can actually see everything they post every day. So you can see what they're offering for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which has become really convenient for me. So I can just take a quick peek to what they have, go get my food, and then come back and eat it. So it's really nice.
Excellent. Yeah, I've heard good things about the app this year in terms of convenience, especially, in this COVID semester. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the villages. So right now, where Roby's at, like we have said, she is over at Village at Alpine Valley. Last year, she was over at Summit Village. Roby, can you talk a little bit about kind of the differences between living over at Summit Village versus living over where you are right now?
Yeah, of course. So living in Summit Village, those are all suite style. So they are, I don't know how to explain it. Like I feel in the apartments I have more room, and as you guys saw, like I have a kitchen in a bigger common area, whereas in the Summit it's just like suite style. So it's just my room, my roommates, a small common area, and then our bathroom. So they're just like different, but I love them both very much, which is really convenient. But yes, I would say the apartments where I'm in right now, I don't know. I like them. They're really nice. I have 3 other roommates and we don't have to worry about bumping into each other, and then we each have our own spot in the fridge, so that's really nice. And you just have more room, which is also good because of COVID. So we don't have to be neck and neck at each other. But yeah.
And then in terms of, the distance between, like, say if a student wanted to not eat at Roaring Fork where you are, but wanted to walk over to Summit Village and eat over at the lodge, how far is that walk?
So I've become a speed walker. So for me, it takes me like 5 to 10 minutes. So it's not that long. It also depends on the weather, because if it's snowing, you're just like all bundled up, walking really slow. But there's also a path that leads behind the housing villages, and you can get there in about 3 minutes. So there's different loopholes around campus, which is really nice.
Excellent, thank you. So
Yeah.
when we start to talk a little bit about the housing application and putting in your room preferences, one of the things to note is over at Summit Village, all of the buildings are named after ski resorts in the state of Colorado. And where Roby currently is at, over at Village at Alpine Valley, all of them are named after rivers that run through the state of Colorado. So that's, if that's helpful for you and you're good at the geography of Colorado, that's a way to kind of discern which building you are putting down as your preference. Okay, so we're going to quickly go through some of the floor plans, but what I want to point out to you all is that our first year students have a lot of choices when it comes to suites and what you're going to put down as a preference. And so the most inexpensive is this first one here. It's a shared bedroom in a suite. So there's a total of 4 people divided between two bedrooms. So there's 2 sets of everything, 2 sets of sleeping areas, study space, storage space, but you can see that there is a common living room within, as well as 2 sink, shower, restroom area. If you wanted to, you can see that, maybe I don't want to have 3 other roommates. Maybe I just want the 1 other roommate to share a bathroom with. So this is another option. Of course, this one's going to cost a little bit more. We've also got a private bedroom in a suite. So if you're okay with sharing your bathroom with 3 other people, but maybe you just want your own space where you have a door you can leave open or close as you see fit, and you can choose that one. That's probably the second, kind of closer to the lower end as far as cost. And then if you wanted just a little bit more square footage, we've got a large private bedroom in a suite. Roby, which plan did you have last year?
So I had the shared bedroom with a suite. So I shared a room with somebody else, and then I had 2 other roommates, and they also shared a room with a small common area.
Got it. And did you feel like you had enough space? Did you bring a lot of stuff? Did your roommate bring a lot of stuff? I've helped with move-in day, so I've seen kind of the
Yeah.
gamut of what people bring.
Yeah, so before we all moved in, we had a group chat, and then each of us brought our own things. So I brought a mini fridge, somebody brought in a microwave, and then somebody else brought in a Keurig. And I feel like we never had problems with spacing issues. We were all really nice to each other. We all got along. So we would just sit in the living room and watch TV or just be in our own rooms doing homework. So I feel like that wasn't a problem. But yeah, I really recommend sharing a room as well. Get to know people.
Awesome. And so we're still over in Summit Village. There's a newer building over at Summit Village called Copper House. So this particular building, some of the floor plans actually have small kitchenettes, and you can see that picture there. And so know that that is something that you can put down as an option if that's something that you want over at first year, for your first year on campus. Here's another floor plan over in Copper House. And then here's another one. So private bedroom with a private bath. We don't have a lot of those over for first year students. As Roby has said, it's great when you can share space and get to know people, not just in your suite, but on your floor. And so this is a private bedroom. Obviously, they've got friends over. They're not all living in that one space. But if this is something that you're interested in, and we'll get to those key dates, then you might want to put in your housing application sooner rather than later if this is a top choice for you. Just a few more pictures of the bathrooms. What's the expectation of cleaning, Roby? Is that something you work out with your roommates?
So we actually had this big whiteboard that had a cleaning schedule. So we would all alternate like cleaning each week, and it would just consist of vacuuming, cleaning the sinks, and you have to clean your toilets. Your mom and your dad won't do that for you, but we just divided it evenly between all of us, and we never had a conflict with it. I think it's really nice, but yeah.
Does anybody ever come in and spot check? I mean, like the RAs or any of the staff?
Yeah, so before COVID, we would have room inspection. So like the RA on the floor, we have two on each floor. So whichever one was closest to you, they would just walk through every room, your common area, and then just check out the bathrooms just to make sure nothing is gross, everything is up to health standards, and that you're following the rules. So we had that. And then as you go into break, so as we approach Christmas break, all the RAs, and I think admin as well, I'm not sure about that, they just go through the rooms and just deep clean everything for you, just so it's like nice by the time you come back. But yeah, other than that, it's just mainly you cleaning it throughout the semester.
Good to know, because we don't need any unofficial lab science experiments going on where you live, for sure. Okay. And so Roby is currently over at Village at Alpine Valley. You'll see some of the floor plans where we will abbreviate that and call it VAV for short. You saw that she had a lovely view of the swings right out that window you see behind her. And these are this is the newer housing village of the two, Summit and Alpine Valley. All right, so over there, we do have a floor plan which includes triples, but know that this year, because of public health, I don't believe we use them as triples. For the most part, people had their own bedroom, but if they did request a roommate, they were, we did allow that. So, just depending on public health, this may or may not be available again next year. We'll see. We like to be optimistic around here. So know that that is a floor plan that is available. Over at Village at Alpine Valley for first year students, we do have a shared bedroom and a suite opportunity. Got a couple more. They also have a 2-person, 1-bathroom type of scenario. And then finally, we've got some private bedrooms over there as well for first year students. So yes, we do have upperclassmen apartments like you saw with Roby's suite, but know that there are some floor plans for first year students over at Village at Alpine Valley too. Oh, we got some more floor plans. I'm telling y'all have a lot of choices to put down for your preferences. And this again is all on that Residence Hall website for you to take a look at with some actual 360 pictures. And here are more pictures. So this is kind of interesting. I always like to point this out. Some floor plans, you can choose to loft your bed up high so that your desk, or in this case, looks like a sofa that they've got under here, you can fit that. And we have those loft kits available. Or if you just needed to loft it a little bit higher to allow for more under bed storage, we have that size loft kit as well. What did you do, Roby? Did you do any of these options?
So mine's lofted. So
Aha.
I don't know how to show this, but yeah, so I have my dressers, a fan that I no longer use, and then 2 shelves at the bottom of my bed. And I am kind of short, so I have a step stool to get on my bed. But yeah, that just allows so that I have more room on my desk as a whole.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And so on move-in day, right, they have those loft
Yes.
kits available, kind of first come,
Mhm.
first serve, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so that's how they come. And then as you can see on the slideshow on the bottom left corner, some of them you can loft it up really high and get stairs up to it, but I'm too clumsy to do that. But yeah, it's just the first come, first serve. And mine is just different bolts that you have to move. So I didn't have to do much with mine. But yeah.
And did you put it together, or was there someone around to help you put it? Uh-oh, there's a story
My
there.
dad definitely helped me while I was unpacking the car, but he said it wasn't that hard. It was pretty simple. But yeah,
And
I
it's still
definitely did not
standing.
do it.
It's still in one piece.
Yeah, I haven't fallen off of it yet either, so it's had a good height. But yeah, I lofted it for more room.
Makes sense. Awesome. All right. So know that that's an option. Okay. So again, we're going to do that raise your hand feature. How many of you have already been accepted to UCCS? Awesome. Congratulations. How many of you're still waiting on us? I know we're getting there. We're getting through all the transcripts and all of your applications. This has been an amazing year, y'all, in many different ways, but we have a lot more applications than we've seen in previous years. So we are getting there. We'll get you there. But for those of you that have been accepted, and for those of you, once you are accepted, it is important for you to claim your account. By claiming your account, that does not mean that you are committing to UCCS. It is allowing you access to many different things that we want you to do as you march towards your decision as to where you're going to go. So last week we had another webinar on scholarships, and we talked about, once you claim your account, you'd be able to access your scholarship application. Similarly, when you claim your account, this also allows you access to your housing application. So in terms of what that looks like, just to quickly reiterate, you're going to go to uccs.edu and you're going to sign into my portal, my UCCS portal, which is right there. Click on that. And then if you have not yet claimed your account, that is all the way down here. So make sure to click onto that. Still need to claim your account. And then this is actually how it'll look once you click on still needs to claim your account. And if you haven't done that, click on claim account, and you will need your student ID number to do that. And once you're in, you'll be able to access a few things. One of them, like I said, is your housing application. So you're going to go to this website, and let me type that in to the chat. Whoops. Okay. So whether or not you've been accepted or not, you can follow along for a little bit. So go to resident.uccs.edu and you can see, yay, the 2021-22 housing application is now open. So you're going to click on that. All right. Once you click on that, it's going to take you to a page that looked just like that last page. It's different. It's actually now here. You're on the housing application kind of main landing page. So I can copy that over actually over into the chat for you to have. Okay, this time when you are on this page, do not click on this. You're going to scroll down the page, whoops, and click on this gold button down here. All right. Apply online. Once you click onto that, it takes you to this page, the housing portal. This is where you would need to put in your username and password. It does say username, not email, and that's basically just the beginning part of your UCCS email address. So, you know, for me, my email address is vea@uccs.edu. I'm going to just leave off the @uccs.edu, put that in the username spot, and my password, and then hit login. All right. Once you do that, yay, you're in the first part of the housing application. It'll have your name here. It'll have your modal number, your email address. With this particular student, they are a first-year student, and you can see that you have 20 minutes before it times you out. But if it times you out, just log back in using your username and password. You're going to click up here on the application. Oh, no, not quite yet. And you are going to select the 2021-2022 button for first year villages. Now, if this particular student was a transfer student, they would see the option to select Village at Alpine Valley Apartments. But with this particular student, first year, that's, you know, you'll see only the choices that are available to you. All right, then you will begin your application. As you can see, there are many parts to it, and there's actually even more after this 12 steps here. And you cannot move on to the next step until you finish them in order. So don't even try. Don't try to skip ahead. This is basically, it's walking you through the language of your housing contract, all right? It isn't till the end portion, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, is where you kind of get into the, you know, here are my room preferences. These are the suites that I want. You can opt into gender inclusive housing. And what I mean by that is we have suites that are typically all female, all male. I think it was a couple of years ago, they added the opportunity for suites to have a mixture of gender. So if that's something that you're interested in, you can select that on number 14. But room preferences is where you would put down your top 6 suites that you're interested in being placed into. Okay. So once that is done, oh, all right, let me actually walk you through. So that's the housing application. Like I said, 17 steps to get through it. Let me talk to you a little bit about key dates. And so the housing application just opened up last week. Yeah, that was just last week. And as you can see, it's live. If for some reason when you sign into your portal and you don't see it, I'll have some contact information for you for our Residence Life office. Reach out to them and then they can kind of help and see what might be going on. You don't have to turn it in right away, but like I said, if there are certain plans that you definitely want, then you might want to do it sooner rather than later. But know that you have until March 15, which is housing's priority date. It's not that we don't take your application after March 15, we certainly do, but your chances of getting your top choice might not be as great as if you had turned it in by March 15. Did you always make that deadline, Roby, this past year and 2 years ago?
Yeah, so I was like going into college, I was like freaking out about everything. So I did it a little bit before the 15th just to make sure if there was any problems, because as you guys saw, there's a lot of steps to it. So just to make sure everything was good. And then for living in this housing village, it was kind of different because if you already live on campus, you don't have to go through the whole process again. You get a white piece of paper in your mailbox, sorry. And then it's the same thing. So you list your top 6, like from each village that you want, whichever house you want. And then for me being an upperclassman in the Alpine Village, I could just select my exact room and then move in. So yeah, but I always did it either before or directly on the deadline because I was a paranoid incoming freshman.
Good to recognize, Roby. Absolutely. And to your benefit to make those deadlines. It really is. Okay, so March 15, if you can get it in by then, awesome. Starting mid-spring, that's when room assignments are sent out. And then starting early summer is when you'll start to get more specific information as it relates to your roommates and your suite mates. Week of August 15th, that is when you will move in. And then finally, the first day of classes for fall semester would be August 23rd. Now, I saw that there was a question about, can you still apply for housing even if you aren't sure where you're going? And so students, you can, but let me tell you a little bit about kind of the housing deposit that is involved. So part of that housing application that I showed you, it includes a $600 housing deposit. If you let us know by May 31 that perhaps you have chosen somewhere else, which will make us sad, but I get it. You guys have a lot of choices. But if by May 31 you decide to go somewhere else, of that $600 housing deposit, $500 is refundable. So we do keep a $100 non-refundable application fee. For those of you who do choose us, what do we do with that $600? I am so glad you asked. $100 we still keep. That is still the application fee. $200 is a security deposit that you keep, that we hold on to, and you get back provided that you have taken good care of your room. Do you get your security deposit back, Roby, at the end of your year?
Yes, but because it was COVID, it was kind of tricky. So my deposit just transferred onto this year. But yeah.
Good to know. So yeah, $200 security deposit, and then $300 is a credit to your fall semester bill. So it is being utilized in that way. So May 31 is actually another key date I should probably put on this chart here. Let's see. All right, I have questions about roommate selection. How are roommates selected? Do we have any control over selecting roommates? I believe there is a questionnaire section as a part of your housing application where it's asking you just for some, information in terms of, maybe you have a little bit more information, Roby, as to what is asked and how they might have paired you, or did you have roommates kind of pre-selected before you came?
Yeah, so I'd love to touch base on that, but through the whole process, I think it's question number 4, so that's your personal details. So within that, I think of it like a personality quiz. So you'll see questions like, oh, I stay up late, I go to bed early, I'm clean, I'm dirty, like pinning point like you as a person. So they do that, and then once you finish all those questions, at the bottom you will get a roommate number. And my freshman year, the person I shared a room with, I requested her. So then I just gave her my number, and then she put it into the system, and that's how we were matched. So that's basically how they do it. But if you don't have any friends you want a room with going into it, they'll just take your results from your personality quiz and then team you up with somebody who's more like your personality, so you'll get along with them. But yeah, I've never had a problem with it. And this year that I don't know either of my roommates, it was the same thing. So your personality quiz, or whatever you'd like to call it, transfers over through your housing account. So it's still the same thing. You don't have to redo it every time you're living on campus. But yeah.
Awesome. So far so good with your roommates this year.
Yes, I've never had a problem with it. Even the friends I know that still live on campus, they've never had a problem with it. So we're all good here.
Good to know. All right, just a few more housing FAQs on this slide. I did see something about our nursing housing floors. So over the years, we have had different theme floors. Some of them are related to majors. I've seen a nursing health sciences floor. I feel like engineering might have had one. I don't know if education or human services might have had one. Anyway, that's an opportunity if you wanted to select into some of those theme floors, not just around majors. We have an honors program floor. If you apply for that program, that's one of the perks. We've had usually a Colorado outdoor living floor. So if you think that you're going to partake in some of those field trips locally, all around the state, then perhaps that's the floor that you look at signing on to. I know over the years there were women's only floors. Not had a request for a men's only floor. But who knows. And then quiet floor, I know that used to be an option if you like things a little quieter after 10 o'clock at night. Oh, look at Roby. Roby's like, nope. Sounds like she's a night owl. Then maybe that's something that you opt into as well. So know that is something that perhaps could be available. I talked a little bit about that housing deposit, where again, the majority of that will be returned to you if you decide to go somewhere else by May 31. I addressed the exemption form a little bit earlier. So if you are from outside of El Paso County and you are thinking of seeing if you qualify for an exemption, let me go ahead and copy that over. While I do that, Chris, I see there's a question on here about whether or not shared bedrooms are still shared. What if our roommate is sick? Do you want to tackle that a little bit while I get this link? Or not? I'll go ahead. So in terms of the shared bedrooms, yes, those were still available if students requested that. This year we did have, we weren't able to house as many students as we typically have in years past. One, because public health needed us to have less students on campus. And two, we needed to set aside rooms for quarantine. So yes, we did have that process in place in case of students being exposed to COVID or, they're awaiting testing and things like that. If you do get sick in general, the Recreation and Wellness Center the Student Health Center is in there. And so that is staffed by our nurse practitioners, physicians. Roby, have you ever had to use the health center when ill?
I have not, but a couple weeks ago they were offering free flu shots for students, so I did go in for that. But luckily I haven't had to get tested or went in for any other appointments, but I did get a flu shot there. So yeah.
And you said that was free.
Yes, and they're doing it again, I believe, this week as well, just because of COVID, just getting something out there for students to be safe. I hate shots, so I wasn't a big fan of it, but it made my mom happy.
All right, so I went ahead and found the housing exemption form link, and I dropped that in the chat. And then for those of you, any transfer students, if you're weighing your options between living on campus as well as off-campus living, there is a website. Obviously, the off-campus housing is not affiliated with the university, but it is a website to look at just to see what options are available for you close by to campus. As you can imagine, as we have grown over the years, we've tried to add as much housing as we can on campus, but demand required that other entities provide off-campus housing. So know that that's a website that you can check out. All right, as I mentioned, here is all the contact information for our Residence Life and Housing Office. Their staff is amazing. Not just their full-time staff, but they also employ resident assistants. Roby mentioned that those are students that live on each of the floors, and they are making sure that, you all are not just following the rules, but you're having fun and you know what's accessible. We also have our front desk assistants over in our various villages, and also there are academic learning assistants for students. I believe, Roby, you guys have academic common areas, right, over at the village at Alpine Valley. if students needed help. Obviously, some of that stuff might be remote right now, but I believe there's actual like study spaces over where you are.
Yeah, so they're called the Academic Commons, and ours is in the main building called La Planta, and that's also where the laundry room is. And then I've actually used them quite a bit. They're pretty nice. So you walk in and there's different tables. There's also a printer there, so you don't have to walk all the way to the library if you need to print something off. And there are also 2 PC computers along with big whiteboards and just big study areas. So yeah, they're really convenient. I love them. It's an easy walk.
Yeah, so in other words, and rather than having to walk over to the library to go study, you actually have some study spaces right there, get you out of your room.
Yeah. The only thing is that within COVID, you do have to make a reservation so they know who's in there. But other than that, I haven't had a problem with them, and they're really convenient.
Is that an app too? Okay, I think she's relaxed now. So sorry. Did you have to make reservations by app?
So probably I made mine over email. So you just email the Academic Commons people and you're like, hi, my name is Roby. Here's my student ID. And then this is when I should plan on arriving. And that's all I had to do.
Very cool. So yeah, if you have any questions, like I said, as you're going through the housing application, you know, that, like I said, the staff is great. The students that work over in housing, they're amazing too. Okay, I know that Chris, Allie, and Eddie have been feverishly getting through some of these questions. What questions do you all want us to answer? Before my dog goes crazy again.
There's a couple questions about people wanting to access this webinar after today. Can you let them know where that will be posted?
Yes, so our UCCS admissions office has a YouTube page. We will post that within the day, and then also Zoom, usually after or a day after our event, we'll send an automated email, and that will also include the link to this recording, if I can record my dog barking out of it. All right, any other questions?
Vanessa, do you want to go ahead and answer the one about Copper House? That the rooms there, I believe all of the rooms in Copper House specifically do come with fridges and microwaves. So I would not bring them. And did you talk about the COVID question about the shared rooms?
I did, but if you'd
Okay.
like to elaborate, you're welcome to.
So hello all. Obviously, we're following every public health guideline the county works with us on. Part of the reason that we've been able to have so many students living on campus, our normal capacity is around 1,640 or so. So to be about 1,350 students living on campus this semester is a pretty big win for us. Part of that, and a lot of it has to do with the private rooms and the bathrooms. However, we did have students that said, no, I really want to live with a roommate. That's my choice. And so we accommodated that request when we could and as appropriately as we could. In the case that someone did get sick, we reserved a lot of our single private rooms that don't share rooms with anybody else as a quarantine type of room to take care of students that way. So we'll probably continue that practice. We've been able to do you know, like I said, a lot of things just in, you know, hand in hand with El Paso County Public Health. And they've been great partners with us and really helping us set up an environment that's very safe and healthy for our students living on campus. So I imagine that would continue this fall. And our goal would be obviously to be at the fullest capacity possible. Like you all, we just have to see how this plays out over the spring, over the summer, and into the start of the academic years. So I would imagine that should we have to limit our housing capacity again, we'll probably be somewhere in that 1,350 range with all those health stipulations in place, which are currently working as best as they can and pretty well overall.
Thank you, Chris. And I saw a couple questions about what if you're not able to pay the deposit? You'll want to work with our financial aid office and talk to them about what they might need to provide assistance for that housing deposit. All right, team, anything else? Okay, well, thank you again for spending your afternoon with us. We really appreciate your time. Next week, Chris, who you just heard answer the COVID question, he will be doing his director's den with our executive director. My dog just wants to get in on this show here. With our executive director of financial aid, as well as our director of housing. And so if you want to save your questions, your related questions, please join him. Do they need to bring cookies, Chris, next week? I forget what our theme is.
Boy, I forget too. It's just like it jumped off at me.
Are you wearing an ugly sweater?
I don't own ugly sweaters.
Okay.
I'm a big sweater guy, so I don't own ugly sweaters. And again, I'll be doing it outside, and we don't know what the weather is going to be. For parents still listening, I obviously encourage a beverage, so that will be encouraged by all, including our guests. I can't think if there was a suggested eating thing. I might have to look into that.
A student did put in the chat that the theme is cookies, so you must have somebody attending. Thanks, Joshua.
Awesome. So don't forget your favorite Christmas cookie. So to end, y'all, what is your favorite Christmas cookie? I have a big thing of Costco cookies, so I've been eating them all. Allie?
I probably have to say snickerdoodles. What about you, Vanessa? Just Costco?
It's like a mixture. It's got like 10 different kinds in there. So and the serving size is 4. So that's what I've been going by. And I saw Roby, she had like holiday themed Oreos, because good grief.
Yes.
That's good for you.
I definitely finished that whole thing and I got it 2 weeks ago, but it's okay. Happy holidays.
Eddie, what's your favorite Christmas cookie?
I don't know about specific to Christmas. I just like the gross ones you get at the grocery store with a lot of frosting on top. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're bad, but they're good.
Chris, okay, we know you don't do ugly sweaters, but cookies? Grinch?
So I am originally from South Dakota, and I don't know if this is just a South Dakota thing because we naturally love junk food. But there's a little cookie that's like, I wouldn't say a gingerbread cookie, it was like a sugar cookie with a Hershey's Kiss shoved in the middle of it. I'm sure that's probably universal for everything, but I've like never seen them in Colorado, but I always see them back in South Dakota. So I don't know what they're called, but they're amazing.
I think those are thumbnail cookies, something like that. Thumbprint cookies. Anyway.
Yeah, Aaron just put in the chat. Aaron knows what's up. That's right.
Oh, okay. So cookie connoisseurs, is that how you say that? All right, awesome. Oh, Eddie, you have a question for me. What is it like going from Hawaii to Colorado? Well, so I went from Hawaii actually to the Midwest first. That's where I did my undergrad. Then I came to Colorado. So when people ask me, does it get cold in Colorado? Yes, but not like Chicago. Yeah, so the 4 seasons it's beautiful in Colorado. The best thing, students, is you don't have to shovel your driveways. We do that, right, Roby? All right. Well, thanks again for your time, and we will catch you all at our next live event. Thanks. Bye.